Morning, all. All right, so 3 days worth of games to preview. 5 games tonight in the National Hockey League. We've got 15 games tomorrow, and then 5 games on Sunday. So since it's 25 games, I figured I'll squeeze the last 2 games into the last block over here because it doesn't make much sense for me to get another board just for one extra game. So, tonight we have 3 starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1 an hour later, and 1 an hour after that. So, we're done early tonight. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Chicago and Detroit. The Chicago Blackhawks, 14-25-2 on the season. They are 4-6 in their last 10. Detroit, 18-18-4. They're 6-4 in their last 10. November 6th, Detroit went into Chicago and won 4-1. The leading scorer for Chicago over the last month has been Connor Bedard. So what I've got on the board here is the leading scorer for each team and a defenseman as well. If the defenseman is the leading scorer, I went with another forward in that case. So we'll go through, and then when a team plays their second game, I go with the second leading scorer, etc., etc. So Bedard, 13 games, 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. Vlasic, 13 games and 5 assists for the very large defender, Vlasic. On the Detroit side, Kane, 12 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Very productive recently. Hall, 11 games, just the 1 assist. He's had some good moments this season, but he's definitely down on that depth chart for Detroit on the blue line. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Montreal Canadiens and Washington. Montreal 19-18-3. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've kind of got a reputation as giant killers right now. Capitals 27-10-4 overall. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10, and they've won the first 2 meetings with Montreal. They're looking to sweep the series. October 31st, Washington wins 6-3. December 7th, it's a 4-2 win for the Caps. On the Montreal side, their leading scorer over the last calendar month has been Caulfield. 12 games, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Hudson on the blue line, 12 games, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. Remarkable run by Hudson. On the Washington side, Dubois, 14 games, 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points. John Carlson, 6 assists in 14 games over that same span. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Vancouver Canucks and the Carolina Hurricanes. Vancouver 18-12-10 overall. 2-3-5 in their last 10. 5. At least they got a point. Carolina 25-15-2 overall, 5-4-1 in their last 10. Carolina won the first meeting October 28th in Vancouver, 4-3 in overtime. So one of those 10 is from Carolina. On the Vancouver side, JT Miller, 13 games, 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points, has been their leading scorer. Noah Juleson was kind of, a little antsy that last game. He has no points in 14 games. Who knows, maybe he gets on the board tonight. On the Carolina side, Aho, 14 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. Orlov, 15 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. Orlov's having a good year. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start between the LA Kings and the Winnipeg Jets. The Kings, 23-10-5 overall. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. Winnipeg, 28-12-2 overall. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. On November 27th, LA won this meeting 4-1. These teams meet again on April the 1st. On the LA side, Kempe, 11 games, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points for him. He's been their leading scorer over the last month. Spence, 11 games, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points for Jordan Spence. On the Winnipeg side, Connor, 13 games, 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. And Pionk, 13 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points for Pionk. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start between San Jose and Utah. So I'm wearing Utah because I figure they're at home against San Jose, then they're at home against the Islanders. They should win one of the two. At the very least, San Jose 13-24-6 overall. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. Utah 17-16-7 overall. They're 3-5-2 in their last 10. October 28th, San Jose wins this meeting in overtime, 5-4. December 14th, Utah won this meeting 4-3 in regulation. San Jose's a leading scorer over the last month. No surprise here. Celebrini, 13 games, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Liljegren, 12 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. I'm well aware of what that sounds like. That's how he wants it pronounced. On the Utah side, Keller, 12 games, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points. That's the kind of production I think Keller can maintain. I think he's good for that. Sergachev's been very good. 13 games, 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points. All right, moving into the behemoth that is Saturday. There's one game starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. 2 games 3 hours later, and then we got the 12 evening games. So these first 3 I'll review on their own, and then the other 12 get the review later at night. So 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific start between Boston and Florida. Florida's won the first 2 meetings. Those were early in the season. October 8th, a 6-4 win for the Panthers. October 14th, a 4-3 win for the Panthers. And then these teams meet again on March the 11th. Boston, hard times for Boston right now. 19-5 record, 3-6-1 in their last 10. That's right, hard times isn't just a promo by Dusty Rhodes. On the Florida side, 25-15-2 record, 6-4 in their last 10. So Florida's probably looking forward to this meeting with Boston. Boston's leading scorer over the last month is Pastrnak, 16 games, 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points. Brandon Carlo, 2 assists in 15 games. He's due for a goal. On the Florida side, Reinhart, 14 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. Has been their leading scorer over the last month. Forsling, 14 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. So Florida has definitely had problems with their offense, but they still have a very good record. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific start between the Seattle Kraken and the Buffalo Sabres. First of 2 meetings. They'll meet again in Seattle on January the 20th. So for the Kraken, they're 17-22-3 overall. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. Buffalo 16-21-5 overall, but they're 5-4-1 in their last 10. And if they could be consistent, they can't, but if they could. On the Seattle side, Dunn is their leading scorer over the last month. 13 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Brandon Tanev, just the 1 assist in 12 games. He's due for a couple of points somewhere here. Peterka, 14 games, 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points. Owen Power, 14 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points for Power. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific start between the Ottawa Senators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is the second of 3 meetings on December 14th. Ottawa won in overtime, 3-2. These teams meet again March the 30th. Ottawa, 19-18-3 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. Whereas Pittsburgh, 18-17-8. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10. On the Ottawa side, Brady Tkachuk, their leading scorer over the last month. 13 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Shabbat, 13 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points for Shabbat. On the Pittsburgh side, of course, it's Crosby. This is their leading scorer, right? 14 games, 4 goals, 16 assists for 20 points. Remember, he's approaching 40, and he's still got 20 points in his last 14 games. Carlson, 14 games, 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points for him. He's been productive as well. So the old guys still have it in Pittsburgh. And then we get to the evening games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. 1 an hour later, 1 an hour later. And then there's 3 more evening games after that. So it's going to be busy. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Vancouver Canucks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. First of 2 meetings. They'll meet again in Vancouver on February the 8th. Vancouver 18-12-10 as previously mentioned. 2-3-5 in their last 10 as previously mentioned. Toronto 27-14-2 overall. They're 6-4 in their last 10. On the Vancouver side, Quinn Hughes, 10 goals, or 10 games. 10 goals would be great. 10 games, 1 goal, 12 assists, 13 points. Pius Suter's due for a goal. He just has 2 assists in 14 games. On the Toronto side, Marner's been their leading scorer over the last month. 16 games, 4 goals, 17 assists for 21 points. Morgan Riley, kind of quiet offensively. 16 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points over the last month. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Dallas Stars and the Montreal Canadiens. So this is the first of 2 meetings as well. They'll meet again on January the 16th. Dallas 26-13-1 overall. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, and they're playing very well. Whereas Montreal 19-18-3 overall. They're 8-2 in their last 10, as previously mentioned here, and also playing very well. So for Montreal, this is tough. They're in Washington, and then they come home to play against Dallas. On the Dallas side, Robertson, their leading scorer over the last month, 13 games, 4 goals, 13 assists, 17 points. Miro Heiskanen, 13 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. On the Montreal side, Nick Suzuki, 12 games, 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points. Matheson, just the 5 assists in 12 games. With the rise of Hudson, you could expect that Matheson's totals would probably come down a bit. With Hudson getting into situations Matheson would have had last year. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. Devils will be glad to be home after a really rough road trip. This is the third of 3 meetings, and Tampa Bay's won the first 2. Tampa Bay's going for the sweep here. October 22nd, it was an 8-5 win for the Bolts, and on November 16th, it was a 4-0 win. So 22-15-2 is the record for Tampa. They are 5-5 in their last 10. New Jersey 25-15-4 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. That 1-4-1 road trip will do that. On the Tampa Bay side, Kucherov 14 games, 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points. McDonough 14 games, 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points. On the New Jersey side, Jack Hughes 14 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points over the last month. And Pesce 14 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. I think Pesce's done well after a bit of an adjustment period there. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Anaheim and Philly. So December 28th, the Flyers won this matchup 3-1. The Ducks are 17-9-5 overall. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. Philadelphia 17-20-5. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10. They've had their struggles. On the Anaheim side, of course, Cutter Gauthier is going to be part of the story, but once the game gets started, it's the game. Troy Terry, 13 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. I don't think anybody's going to ask him to fight, but maybe. Lacombe, 14 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. On the Philadelphia side, there's going to be a lot of chirping towards him, though. On the Philadelphia side, Konechny, 14 games, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points to lead them over the last month. Cam York's due for a goal. He has 6 assists in 13 games, again, over the last month. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the between the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. This is the second of 3 meetings. Chicago won on October 12th, 5-2, and then these teams meet again February 5th. So Chicago goes from playing in Detroit to being at home against the Oilers. Oilers 25-13-3. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Chicago 14-25-2. They're 4-6 in their last 10. On the Edmonton side, Draisaitl, 14 games, 12 goals, 13 assists, 25 points. Their leading scorer over the past month. Evan Bouchard, 14 games, 1 goal, 10 assists, 11 points. Bouchard, very productive recently. On the Chicago side, Teravainen, 13 games, 1 goal, 12 assists for 13 points. And TJ Brody, 13 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. So maybe there'll be somebody out there watching this and going, oh, Brody's in Chicago. Because I know Chicago doesn't get as much attention as some of the other teams. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Blue Jackets and the Blues. So on January 4th, Columbus won this matchup at home 6-4. Now they got to win it on the road. If Columbus is going to hold the playoff spot they currently occupy, they have to start winning more on the road. 19-17-6 is the record for Columbus. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Blues 20-19-4 overall. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. On the Columbus side, Marchenko, 15 games, 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points, playing very, very well. So's Werenski, 15 games, 5 goals, 15 assists. He also has 20 points. On the St. Louis side, Thomas, 15 games, 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points for him over the last month. Fowler, really enjoying his time in St. Louis, 13 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. Really seems to be the elixir he needed to get his career started again. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we have the Colorado Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. This is the third of 4 meetings. November 7th, Winnipeg wins 1-0. On December 31st, Colorado won 5-2. These teams meet again on January 22nd. Colorado 26-16-1. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. Winnipeg 28-12-2. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. So Colorado trying to dig their way up towards that top spot. McKinnon, 14 games, 6 goals, 21 assists for 27 points over the last month. So, yeah, McKinnon wants 100 assists. He's decided. Josh Manson was good last night. 4 assists in 7 games this month. He is a forgotten guy on that blue line because Makar and Taves get so much attention. On the Winnipeg side, Scheifele, 13 games, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points, having another strong point-per-game season. Morrissey, 13 games, 3 goals, 9 assists for 12 points. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start between Washington and Nashville. So the Caps go from being at home on Friday to being in Nashville on Saturday. Washington won the first meeting at home on November 6th by a score of 3-2. Capitals 27-10-4 as previously mentioned, 6-2-2 in their last 10. Nashville 13-21-7, 5-4-1 in their last 10, coming home off of what was a successful road trip. On the Washington side, Protas, 14 games, 9 goals, 3 assists, 12 points. Playing excellent hockey, getting to that net. Chychrun, 14 games, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. Jacob Chychrun, quietly having a very good year for Washington. I say quietly because everybody just talks about Ovechkin and the fact they didn't expect the Capitals to be this good. On the Nashville side, Marchessault's their leading scorer over the last month. 13 games, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. Brady Shea, 13 games as well, 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start between the Islanders and Utah. Utah won the first meeting on October 10th by a score of 5-4 in overtime. The Islanders 16-18-3 overall. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Utah 17-16-7, as previously mentioned, 3-5-2 in their last 10. On the Islanders side, Lee, their leading scorer over the last month, 12 games, 7 goals, 3 assists for 10 points. Romanov's had 7 assists in 12 games over the last month, so he's being productive and he's getting assists. On the Utah side, Cooley, 13 games, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Kesselring's really slowed down after a hot start offensively, just 1 assist in 13 games over the last calendar month. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the LA Kings and the Calgary Flames. This is in Calgary, of course. On November 11th, Calgary won 3-1, and the postponed game that was supposed to be in LA the other night has not been rescheduled as of yet. I'm thinking probably April 16th, 17th in that region, unless they can find somewhere else in the schedule that works before that. The LA Kings 23-10-5, as previously mentioned, 6-2-2 in their last 10. The Flames 19-14-7 overall. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. On the LA side, Warren Fogle, 11 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points for him. Brant Clark, 5 assists in 11 games on the blue line. On the Calgary side, Huberdeau, 12 games, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points to lead the Flames in the last month. And Rasmus Andersson is long overdue for a goal. He has 3 assists in 12 games. I don't know, maybe all the talk about trade, maybe that's got, no idea. But there's been speculation about whether or not Anderson might be on the block. What are you going to do with Anderson? Because there are some pending UFAs there in Calgary, and maybe. But either way, he is overdue for a goal. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start between the New York Rangers and the Vegas Golden Knights. The Rangers definitely are starting to figure this out. So the Rangers are 19-20-2 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. The Vegas Golden Knights 28-10-3 overall. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they're going to be ornery after that loss to the Islanders. So this is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again in New York on February 2nd. On the Rangers side, Trocheck, 14 games, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. Lindgren, 14 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points for Ryan Lindgren. Not bad for a defensive defenseman. On the Vegas side, Eichel, 13 games, 2 goals, 12 assists, 14 points. No surprise he's led them over the last month. Hanifin, 13 games, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points for Noah Hanifin. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and the 15th and final game of the Saturday, Minnesota and San Jose. So November 7th, Minnesota won that meeting 5-2. These teams meet a third and final time, April the 9th. Minnesota's 26-12-4. They're 6-4 in their last 10. We'll see how many of the injured players are still out for this one. San Jose 13-24-6, as previously mentioned. 2-7-1 in their last 10, and they go from playing in Utah on Friday to hosting Minnesota on Sunday. Or on Saturday. So they go from one day. I know Sunday's here. I'm getting ahead of myself. So on the Minnesota side, Rossi, the leading scorer over the last month, 15 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. Bogosian, 15 games, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points for Zach Bogosian. And he's on the board because a lot of the other defensemen are hurt, so it's going to force Bogosian to play more minutes. On the San Jose side, Toffoli, 13 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. Cody Ceci, 13 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. Solid addition on the blue line for San Jose, who are better than they were last year. I know it's faint praise, but still. Okay, moving on to Sunday. We got 5 games there, and then I'm going to go have a nap. So starting at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Of course, I'm not going to have a nap. I got work to do. But Seattle in Detroit against the Red Wings. This is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again February the 4th in Seattle. The Kraken 17-22-3. So they go from Buffalo to Detroit. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. Detroit 18-18-4 as previously mentioned. 6-4 in their last 10. On the Seattle side, Schwartz, 13 games, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points. He's been productive. Montour, 13 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. Cooled off a little bit from the pace he had earlier in the year. Larkin, 12 games, 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points. Solid production there. And Moritz Seider, 12 games, 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific start between Dallas and Ottawa. So Dallas goes from Montreal to Ottawa. This is the second of 2 meetings on January 2nd. Dallas won 4-2 at home. Now they meet again. Dallas 26-13-1 as previously mentioned. 7-2-1 in their last 10. Jamie Benn, 13 games over the last month. 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. He's on a run. Lundqvist, 3 assists in 11 games. And I like to throw Nils Lundqvist's name on the board every now and then because I'm kind of surprised he's re-signed with Dallas after the way last year went. And I kind of admire that he came back even though last year didn't go great. On the Ottawa side, Batherson, 13 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. And Nick Jensen, 13 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points for Jensen, who had a turnover last night, and he's had issues here and there recently, but he's a very good defenseman, and he's had a solid season with Ottawa. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific start as well between Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, so this is going to be interesting. Pittsburgh hosts Ottawa, then they host Tampa. Tampa, on the other hand, goes from New Jersey to Pittsburgh. On November 19th, Tampa Bay won this matchup 3-2 over Pittsburgh. These teams meet again on March the 25th. Tampa Bay's 22-15-2. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Pittsburgh 18-17-8. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10. On the Tampa Bay side, Braden Point, 14 games, 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. Hedman, 12 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points for him. On the Pittsburgh side, Raquel, 14 games, 10 goals, 8 assists, 18 points. Just remarkable numbers from Raquel. Letang, 11 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific start as well between Anaheim and Carolina. So the Ducks go from Philadelphia to Carolina, and there's 22 hours between the start times. Anaheim, 17-19-5 overall. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. Ryan Strome, 15 games, 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points. That's not bad. On the Carolina side, they're 25-15-2. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10, as previously mentioned here. Stahl is their second leading scorer. I think he has 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points over the last month. But Jordan Stahl is the second leading scorer for Carolina. I mistakenly put Aho on the board again, but I remember that Stahl was the second leading scorer. So if you want somebody to pick up who might be on a hot streak right now, it might be Jordan Stahl. He had the hat trick last night. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific start between Minnesota and Vegas. So Minnesota goes from San Jose to Vegas. And, of course, if they're as beat up as they were last night against Colorado, man, that could be ugly. Minnesota, 26-12-4 overall, 6-4 in their last 10. Zuccarello, 13 games, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Point per game from Zuccarello, as usual. On the Vegas side, 28-10-3 their record, 8-2 over their last 10, as previously mentioned. And Stone, 13 games, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points from Mark Stone. And that wraps up the 25-game preview for the next 3 days. Let me know your winners in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. I will talk to you again soon.